everyone, so today I am doing Chile Rellenos. Now I am not a very good cook. I'm actually just learning how to cook, but I made these because they are my favorite dish. I love it, and I live in Florida and access to Mexican food is not like in California. So I'm teaching myself how to make these, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos, but a lot of them make it look so easy, like there are no mistakes made, and I made quite a few mistakes along the way. So this video is going to show you what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and what I learned from this whole process. So first of all, these are the green chilies that you are going to need. I found mine at Walmart for $2.98 a pound, which I thought was a great price. So if I can find them in Florida, I'm pretty sure anybody can find them at their local grocery store. I roasted them in a skillet, and some areas did not get charred the way other areas did, and that was one thing. You do need to try to have those little black areas all over the chili, and like no blank green spaces, because peeling the skin off, it will be easier if you do that. Now, traditionally, after you have roasted them, you put them in a plastic bag to kind of steam, and that will help in removing the outer layer skin of the chili. But I was in a hurry. I didn't plan on this, so I decided to leave them in this little bowl with a lid, and that steam would work. It did not. So go ahead and use the traditional way of having a plastic bag. I was worried, what if my chilies were so hot that they could melt the plastic? And I decided to do this. It didn't work. So I would just take the time to make sure your chilies are not hot and burning the plastic. So I started to peel them, and I quickly learned that the blistery areas were the areas where the skin was really easy to take off or to peel off. So if you have a good area, you can go ahead and pull it. And if it's large enough, you can pull areas that don't have the blistering, just green areas like that. So this is why it's so important that the chili has these little blisters all over, so that it's enough to kind of not have any blank green spaces. So you can tell right here, the area that I left because I burned it was the best area, because it allowed me to kind of grip more off the chili. Now, areas that were not charred, see, I tried to peel it off and it was impossible, so I just left it. I ate them. I was fine. I didn't feel like tasted a difference. I went ahead and I took out all the seeds and the veins inside. This is just a preference. I did not want to have mine being spicy. So then you stuff your chilies. Now I use mozzarella shredded cheese because it's what I had. Like I said, I live in Florida, and access to authentic Mexican cheeses is not as possible as in California. In California, they have a store called Cardenas, and you can get authentic Mexican cheeses. But here, not so. Personally, I love mozzarella cheese. It's my preference. It worked for me. But whatever you like, I suggest you don't use shredded cheese because it will fall out when you are coating it in the batter. So the next step is the sauce. Now the sauce always has onion in the sauce, so I just use vegetable oil, grilled it up a little. And my sauce is basically 6 tomatoes, 3 garlics, lined up to 2.5 cups of water, and a piece of onion, like a small slice of onion. And it was enough for these 5 chilies. Remember, you're not making chile relleno soup. It's just a sauce to kind of simmer the chilies in. So the quantities worked out perfect for 5 chile rellenos. I mixed that up quickly in my blender, and like I said, I have my onion on my skillet with vegetable oil cooking. So once this is mixed, I can go ahead and just pour it in to that pan. And the pan, you need to make sure that it's wide enough to accommodate the 5 chilies, so that when they lay down flat, they're not on top of each other. So I just went ahead, poured it in, and cooked it over medium heat with no cover. And while that was cooking, I went ahead and added some cilantro just to add some flavor. I didn't even need to cut it or chop it up. So here I am making my batter for my chiles, and it's just separating 4 egg whites from the egg yolks, and you'd put the egg whites in the mixer, and I put it in medium-high heat between a 6 and an 8 on my KitchenAid, and I had it run until I started to form stiff peaks, kind of almost like icing. I don't know if anybody's made royal icing, but you need sort of that thick-ish consistency. And I had the bright idea to pour in my egg yolks. My 4 egg yolks are going in, and I thought, oh, the mixer can mix them in and it'll be perfect. That is not something you should do. You should definitely fold them in manually, because when I did this, the stiff peaks became no longer stiff peaks, but a mushy bowl of batter. So definitely something, I figure if you fold them in, that you wouldn't lose that stiff peak consistency the way I did by mixing them in my mixer. So that's something to keep in mind when you're making your batter. I just thought it would be quicker. So here I am finally coating my chile rellenos. I have a plate with flour, and I go ahead and I coat them by hand. Now I have to be careful because, like I said, I have shredded cheese in there, so I need to make sure I keep it closed. So I kind of dunked it in my batter and I try to coat it with my hands. And one thing that happened was that wherever you hold the chili, you kind of like almost pull the batter off the chili. So you can see I'm trying to pour some on top of the areas that have become uncovered because I was holding it with my hand. So the ideal way is to hold it by the stem and coat it with the flour and then dip it into the batter, kind of like a lollipop, I guess. And that is the ideal way. But like I said, I had shredded cheese, and I try to put a little toothpick to kind of hold it closed, and that kind of seemed to help. But if I tilted the bowl and I dipped it, I was able to hold it by the stem, and I was able to quickly put it into my vegetable oil, which, by the way, the vegetable oil needs to be on high heat. I believe I had it at medium heat to begin with, and it wasn't like kind of frying up quickly enough, and that was a huge mistake. You want it to be on really high heat. And also a spoon. I don't know why I didn't have a spoon here, but you need a spoon to kind of like scoop up some of that vegetable oil and get the sides of the chili. You can tell that there's cheese dripping out of that chile relleno, and the sides are not fully fried, and that's not, you want to make sure that all of the batter is fried. Like, that's the number one goal of this process. So I got the hang of the flouring, and then I got the hang of holding it by the stem and kind of dipping it in and kind of keeping the toothpick to keep it from the cheese falling out. But definitely, I believe it would have helped also if my batter would have been a little bit thicker, because it was really runny. Now I finally decided to get a spoon, scoop it on top of the chili rather than handling with my hands, which was kind of peeling off the batter wherever I held it. Like I said, make sure that vegetable oil is really, really hot. So also a pan that holds it evenly. Mine tilts to the side, and you can tell I can't really fry it. If I turn it upside down, the cheese is going to fall out. I should have had a spoon to scoop it on. Learn from my mistakes. Just understand that this can happen. So I had some egg left, and I just wanted to point that out. 4 eggs is more than enough to make your batter for coating your 5 chile rellenos. So here it is. I had put the chile rellenos straight into the sauce, and I realized now that I think about it, I should have actually just put them on a paper towel and kind of let them drain before I put them in. And I should have actually made sure that every inch of the batter was fried. Okay, I learned from my mistakes. I let them, it's going to cook no matter what. And honestly, it didn't make a difference. But I kind of thought, well, maybe I should put a lid on this and it would help cook better. Don't do it. You need to cook them without a lid. And the reason for this is because steam is going to build into this. And it looks delicious, and it sounded like a good idea at the moment because I had all of that batter that wasn't fried. But it's going to cook anyways because of the heat. But having it steam is going to make your batter fall off your chile, which is not what you want. So please, let's not cover the pan when it's cooking. I mean, I made mistakes. I did good things. I did bad things. But overall, the chile rellenos were delicious. I cannot tell you how amazing it is to be able to make such a dish, to eat such a dish. Definitely, I will get better as time passes. But anyways, I hope this video helped. Thanks for watching.